Hi friends, welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. It has been a beautiful chilly fall day here, and I thought it was perfect to kind of end the day with some hot soup. I was going to make this homemade tomato soup that I make. I didn't have all the exact ingredients on hand, but I thought I would just see what I could come up with what I had. So I'm chopping up a couple cloves of garlic here. So when I was little, I actually didn't really like tomato soup as a kid. I thought it was kind of, I don't know, I just didn't like it. And now I absolutely love it. It's like one of my favorite soups. Funny how like our taste buds change over time. I hope you all are having a wonderful fall season so far. I just love this time of year. It's getting so chilly, and now our trees are starting to turn and they're just beautiful. So I got this Dutch oven from Walmart last year for Christmas. I absolutely love it. Love making soups and things in this thing. So I'm just going to start off with just a little olive oil here in the bottom. Toss in the garlic and get it like browning. Sometimes I put onion in, but I didn't this time. I was kind of in a hurry, so I didn't cut up any onion, but I tossed this in, and oh, I just love this smell. The smell of garlic and onion, or just garlic just on the stove. So good. I know I've said that like several times, but it just is so good. So I went through the pantry trying to see like what we had on hand. I usually like to start with like 2 cans of tomato sauce, but I only had one, so I was trying to dig through and see what else I could use. So I found a can of diced tomatoes, and they had like basil, garlic, and oregano. They're like the Italian diced tomatoes. So I thought maybe if I, add those and kind of put them in I put them actually in the Ninja and chopped them up, and then added those with the tomato sauce and then the milk. So here I'm using the Ninja to kind of, it definitely chopped them up. Got them really, really nice and fine here. Meanwhile, my oldest, he was cutting up bread and seeing what cheese we had on hand to make sort of a cheese bread in the oven to dip in our soup. So I'm back over here at the stove. I'm just going to add these chopped tomatoes. So right now I've just got a little bit of oil, the garlic, about 2 cloves because they were huge. I usually do 3, but these were really big. And then I'm adding the chopped tomatoes here that I had. It was a can of those. And then I added a can of tomato sauce. So get that kind of all stirred around. I kind of pulled it off the heat. It was getting too hot. And then I'm going to take, I use like the cans to measure the milk. So I usually do like a can and a half of milk. So a little side note here, the best ingredient is the fresh basil. And we have a basil plant, or we had a basil plant. We had some hail damage, so we had to get a new roof. So I had to move like all my plants off the back porch and things. And the basil plant got misplaced. It ended up being in the shed, and then, or like the barn. So anyway, I lost my basil plant, but I'm going to have to get another one. So I used some dried basil that I had already, like from the store. But it was good. It turned out fine. So I put that in there, and of course some salt and some pepper. I don't really do a lot of measuring when I make this soup. It still seemed like it was missing a certain tomatoey taste, so I ended up we had some tomatoes still left from our garden. So my son went out and he got a couple of those, got those all washed off, and then we put those in the Ninja and pureed those up, added them to the soup, and it definitely made it a little more hearty. Right here I'm just adding a little bit of salt. I like to do sea salt, but I thought I was out, I guess, or something, but then I found it. So anyway, ended up using the other salt. So here's the tomatoes we got, just a couple, little small ones. And then he put those in the Ninja, and then we're just gonna add them in. Since I didn't do onions, I thought I'd add a little bit of onion powder. I was kind of like hitting it because it was not coming out. I don't know, it was kind of stuck together or something. Okay, so I thought I had a clip of me finishing the soup. We just added a little dash of cayenne pepper from our garden. My son grew the peppers and dried them, and then he ground them up with a mortar and pestle, and we put a little bit of that in just to give it like a little bit of a kick, and so it turned out great. Now I'm into the mud room here and trying to clean this room up. It's just in a constant disaster. Is just the leaves right now are just coming in like crazy. Like I can sweep and then an hour later more leaves. But that's okay. That's just part of the season, which I still absolutely love this season. Back here in the kitchen now. I forgot to mention this is the next night after the night we made the tomato soup. It was getting so late, so I didn't get to finish filming, but that's okay. There was a lot of content here in the kitchen today. I just had such a mess in the kitchen, so I wanted to get it all cleaned up and wiped down before I settled down for the night. And so that's kind of what I'm doing here, just getting everything cleaned up and put together. Sometimes when I can't get things that are stuck on the cabinet off, I get this spatula that's like, it's harder, but it has like a soft edge and kind of scrape it there. Probably not the best idea, but it works. And so now I'm just kind of cleaning this stovetop over here. It says like the gas cooktop. It's always super messy and kind of really hard to clean. Somebody just waved. I just noticed that on the camera. That was my son and then his friend walking around. So I took the top of the cooktop over and washed it in the sink. It's so much easier to do that over there, and then it just kind of pops back on. So it's not too hard, not too bad to clean. I was starting to get hungry, so I wanted to make something that I love that's a little bit more of a healthier dessert, if you could say that. but it's 4 ingredients, just bananas, oatmeal, chocolate chips, and cinnamon. And then you can also add peanut butter if you want to. So it could be 5, I guess. But I didn't do peanut butter this time, but the oatmeal, the bananas, and the cinnamon and chocolate chips went so well together. It was delicious. You can make them in little cookies, but I don't know, I tried this. I put it in a like 11 by 7, and I like how it turned out. So then after I got it out, I was able to just cut little slices kind of out of it. I don't know, it just tasted better for some reason. I like to use about 3 bananas, but I only had 2. So I just kind of broke them up into the glass dish after spraying it with some olive oil. And then I didn't really measure, but probably about a cup of the oats. And these were the, like, not the quick oats, but just the old-fashioned oats. And then I probably did about a half a cup of chocolate chips, maybe not quite that much. And then maybe a couple, like 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. And then just kind of, basically, I just smashed it all together and baked it in the oven for about 10 minutes on 375. So here's what it kind of looks like here when it's done, or not done, I'm sorry, but before I put it into the oven. Super easy to make and super delicious and somewhat healthy. Thank you all so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you wouldn't mind to give it a thumbs up, that would be awesome. I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Take care, have a cozy night, and God